We're here to discuss Robert Bone's edit of Series 1. His edit, I could sit here and criticise it to death and talk about,
But this is supposed to be a short clip.
Well, I know, but he trimmed out a word here or there, and then the background music kind of skips a beat and whatever. That's a bit weird.
Didn't bother me, but I'm not you.
And some of the fade in and fade outs and whatever. A little bit unprofessional if
But he's not known for his documentary editing, though, is he?
No, he's not. But anyway, I'm not going to be a prick about it, because that would be a character. Actually, I was really touched that he did this edit.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I watched it in my hotel room and was quite moved by it, because condensing 67 hours down to 53 minutes is an epic task. It's like Peter Jackson doing an episode of Hollyoaks.
Or Your Sex Life.
It's not that long.
Yeah, and you've got 4 kids, so that's under 15 minutes per child.
Yeah.
So that works. Anyway, regardless of any of that, I was actually quite touched, not in that way, by this edit. I watched it and thought it did the story really well. So we give it our blessing, and we're very pleased that he did it. And, although some of the cuts to me were like a knife in the chest, actually, when I watched it in the context of it, it was like, yeah, okay, that works with what it's meant to be. So enjoy the abridged version, but don't just watch this and go, oh, I know what it's all about now. Go and watch the proper fucking episodes on our channel, youtube.com/spacepotatoes. Is it Space Potatoes UK or /spacepotatoes?
I'm not in charge of the technical department.
I think it's just /spacepotatoes. You can find it. Robert's going to put the links in the description. So follow that and go and watch all 3 episodes, and they'll be brilliant. So
of course.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Right.
That would do.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. I can't believe you cut Lorelei, though. Fucking racist.
That's terrible, that, isn't
Skinny, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he looks a bit NF, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robert Bone. You no doubt know me as magician, mind reader and demonstrator of extrasensory curiosities. And no doubt you know that you can book me for your upcoming weddings, parties and corporate events. But why am I here introducing a film about the band Space Potatoes? If you've never heard of Space Potatoes, make sure you check out their songs. I guarantee you will recognise the music. I caught a whiff of a rotten potato. A potato festering at the bottom of a bag of potatoes. You know what I mean. Anyway, so I went through and I found the footage, and there was little clues that seemed to be in there. And I thought there was another story lurking within that footage. So, warm up the deep fat fryer. Set the oven to 190 or 180 if it's a fan assisted oven. Turn the grill on, bring the water up to a rolling, simmering boil, and sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy what is my personal take of Space Potatoes and what happened in 2020.
We are all a family, no matter where you're from. A shining reality. What could go wrong?
Drop these batters, Sean. Squeeze the sides, it's open, I'm not talking about there.
Shut up, you cunt. Pissed off.
Nick's wife turned up, picked him up, he's gone. He was in a mood.
Do you reckon he'll be back?
He's always in a mood, yeah, to be fair, moody twat.
Do you reckon he'll be back?
I think he always has been. He leaves the band every fucking year and then never...
Yeah, but he seemed pretty...
He seemed a bit final. I think this was the final straw for him. Unless it's the boy who cried wolf. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
It's just... It's too early in the morning for this shit.
Yeah. We don't know when they're going to open up. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks,
Could be
it could be a month.
I don't know, yeah.
We don't know. And until then, of course, we've paid out for all the trucks, the tour bus, all of that stuff, all that gear's still in the equipment, so we don't know, we don't know how long that's going to take to get
how
back.
serious is this? What is it? Virus? What is it? Flu? What is
it? It must be serious if they've cancelled gigs and football matches and shit like that. It must be serious. I don't really know.
I bet you we never even know a single person that's even got it, and it's all a load of bollocks.
Well, I don't know anyone who's had it.
No.
I block booked several weeks off to follow you on tour. What am I going to do then?
Make a documentary.
What's your name and, you know, tell me what you do?
My name's, it's David Domminney Fowler. Everyone knows me as Dave Domminney, and they call me Curly Fries because I'm in the Space Potatoes and my hair is curly. Whoever came up with that particular nickname literally deserves a Nobel Prize for literacy.
Your nice blue Stratocaster there.
Stratocruiser. That's a plane. It is, it's an old plane from the 50s.
My name is Ricky, but people call me Spud, and I play drums for Space Potatoes.
How did you get together?
Wow. Dave and I, both in our previous bands, played at a little tiny venue called the Red Eye in Islington. We were on a bill with two other just horrendous bands, and I remember Dave and I bumped into each other at the bar. It's since transpired that he didn't like my band and I didn't like his band. I was in a band called Juice with a guy called Nick Marnie and a guy called Andrews, and we were a three-piece band, and to be fair, we were particularly spectacular. But we just got chatting about guitars and things, and it turns out we both have a mutual love of the Shadows and Blur. We would go in there and we would piss on everyone. We would walk in there and we would just get on the stage, and from the moment it was the sound check, we made people scared. They just did not want to play with us. They didn't want. He was a really lovely guy. He was very sort of upbeat about music and really passionate about his band and where he was going to take them, and it didn't go anywhere. I think we did piss on them. They don't think we pissed on them, but I think we did. But it had this singer in it called Chris, who's just, I mean, he was fun and he was great, and I thought his songs were shit. I'll be honest with you, I thought his songs were shit. We kept in touch, and this is, you know, feels like years ago now, but we just kept in touch over the smallest of, did you see this? This has just come out, and this DVD and this box set's come out. Have you got it yet? And we're literally pissing on people. Well, not literally pissing on people, we're pissing all over them musically. And then it's gonna break. It's gonna go wrong at some point, you know. And it all went wrong. I mean, it just kind of exploded. Juice had kind of fell apart. He was involved in the Dean Howard band, which is Ricky, our drummer. It's his dad, and it's a band that Dave he was kind of the driving force, as Dave is with things. We'd literally just finished pissing all over them, but not literally. But I loved him. He was fucking brilliant. He was like my mate. He came up, he was instantly like my brother. As fucking God sent me this geezer to fucking work with, and it was like it was destined to be. And the phone rang one day, and it was Dave, and he was, "What are you up to?" So I said, "Oh, well, you know, just had a baby. Not much."
I was in bands, you know, in school bands and metal bands, you know, prior to Space Potatoes. I had the long hair and everything, which looked terrible. I used to be a security guard, wasn't a very good one. And then Dave asked me to join in 2005 to be a drummer. I thought I was going to be replaced, but they never replaced me, so I've kind of been here ever since. It was meant to be me and Chris, right? And we had Nick come in on bass, who was in Juice with me, and then I got my mate's son in. Drum programming had really, you know, drum programming really got good back in those days. So I started like doing demos by programming drums, and to be honest, that's never really changed. I still program the drums to the day, but live, obviously, we're not going to have a fucking computer on stage playing the drums. I mean, it just looks stupid, you know. So my mate Dean, you know, his son played drums. I said, "Do you want to come in and whack some, you know, play some drums live until we get a better drummer or whatever?" And again, it's one of those things, just laziness has stuck him around, you know. I think he'd be too difficult to move as well.
I'm Kieran Payne, and I'm the manager of the Space Potatoes. Just got off the phone with Nick, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll cut straight to the chase. He's gone. Look, I suggest what we need to do as a band and as a team is to move forward and start looking at a new bass player. And we don't know what to do. I mean, the one thing we do need to do, though, is he used to do all the translation for us when we were in France, didn't he? So do you guys got any thoughts on what we can do about that? I mean, I can talk to the promoters if needs be, but what do you think?
Well, they're going to charge, aren't they, for translation services?
I'd rather not spend the money.
Particularly when we don't know when we'll be back on the road. So, Ricky, can you speak French?
Me?
Yeah.
Not a clue. I don't even know what the French word for rendezvous is.
Is Nick definitely out then?
I can't see him coming back. I mean, he hasn't really had the success out of the band that the rest of us has, or at least me and Chris. 2020 was his break year. We were going to get here, do our big tour of the 10-year anniversary of our big single, and it hasn't worked out, has it? Let's face it, we can't do the 2020 Rendezvous Tour in 2021. That's just going to be fucking stupid.
Back to those early days, you know, the success of Monday and that very first album, Potatoes in Space. Talk to me about that time.
That was a great time because, you know, the world was ours. We didn't have any hang-ups on over anything. It was us versus the world. With Dave came in as this sort of powerhouse songwriter, producer, lyrical genius, and he was great. He was a great encourager in those days. Some of the early material was, you know, really, really positive stuff, and I felt like we stood out against the sort of dreary, bedwetter, acoustic, snivelly, dribbly crap that was in the charts. And we were just like a breath of fresh air. Loads of energy on stage, great live band, killer albums, 40 minutes, boom, done, out of the door.
Other people have worked with big name producers. What about you guys? You worked with some big names?
No, we only ever had one producer. I mean, the thing is I don't really get on producers because I am a producer. And you know, we had a compromise. You know, Stefan was called in.
The wonderful French guy, Stefan cul-de-sac, he's just an absolute visionary.
Well, let's see how music is being made.
But as things sort of progressed, Stefan was kind of superseded by Dave. He got hold of the tracks on a hard drive, took them home, worked on them. Stefan still, on our albums, is listed as producer, but, you know, Dave is the producer.
So because it did well, despite my interference, they call it interference, I call it fucking, you know, stopping it being a turd. And yeah, it sold really well. So no one's ever questioned me on that. I now fucking produce the albums.
Yeah, Stefan's great. You know, he's a guy you look forward to seeing. You just can't fault the guy. He's great.
So tell me about that breakthrough album, Potatoes in Space, because it's, you know, there's some really great stuff on that. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I never played on it, but yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm only really a live drummer. I never really played one song on the first album, to be honest, which is pretty weird.
So, a lot of great stuff on the second album, Interplanetary Vegetables. Must have been a lot of fun to put that together and make that album. Can you tell me about that?
Again, I didn't play on it. Yeah, I didn't play on it. It's all Dave.
Okay. All right. Well, the third album, right? Tell me about that then. You know, you've been in this band since the start. Tell me about the third album.
It's our third album. Doesn't mean I played on it. I've not played on any of the albums. Not one beat is from me, mate. Not one. I don't write any of the songs. I just get paid a standard wage, and just allows me to pay me bills and play with me trains. I think you'll enjoy this. You'll always be second place, doesn't mean you are a disgrace. You'll never compare to my one true girl, even though she has put me through hell. If I need shares in Nurofen, I'd rather be alone again. If you miss me, I'll block your texts. All I want from you is sex.
You see, the thing is about Ricky is it's very derivative. When he writes something, it just sounds like every other fucking song that's out there on the planet. And when I write something, you know, I want it to be as original as possible.
So listen, guys, spent the last couple of days on the phone to France and to Germany. Looks like the current dates are going to be postponed till potentially June or July.
Right.
All the tickets will still just be valid as they were.
Should be, yeah. We can bring them over.
Okay. And what do you think the chances of that actually happening? You know.
Right now, it's all up in the air. You know, people are going crazy over in Europe. At the moment, I'm a little bit worried, but you know, we'll take it as it comes. Like, the main thing we've got to do is just keep the fans in the know.
So, have you had therapy before?
Not personally. I've not had therapy on a one-to-one level like this, but I was involved once in some group therapy with the band, which I don't know if you know. I play in a band. I don't know if that was emailed to you. That I play in a band.
I don't know much about you at all at the moment.
Okay.
This is the point. This is the point of the assessment, just to see.
No, I just wonder if you
and...
recognise me. You've probably heard some of the singles. I mean, you've lived in England all your life. You can't have missed out on us. But anyway.
So you're well known?
Yeah, but we had a #1 single. Do you know the song 2020 Rendezvous?
2020 Rendezvous. You and me and you. 2020 Rendezvous. There's so much that we can do.
Talk to me about 2020 Rendezvous, this song then.
Right. 2020 Rendezvous was a kind of vision that I had that was, you know, people talked about the year 2000, and when it arrived, it was just another year. And we were at this point 10 years into this new century, and I thought, 10 years from now, what would be possible with technology expanding all the time and all these amazing things that with, you know, mobile technology and stuff like that. And I just thought, that's going to be a utopia year.
I rang up Chris one day and I said to him, we need a song like Pulp's Disco 2000. I said that song was all about meeting up in the year 2000 and having fun.
To say that? Are you allowed
yeah,
to say
I'm
that?
allowed to say that.
Are you sure?
I don't see why not.
I just need to check for the tape, sorry.
No, I can say that because we didn't, it's not called Disco 2000.
We kind of went for this disco vibe, and it bore a resemblance to another well-known song that had a disco vibe to it, and unbeknownst to me, I'd used a similar chord sequence to a song by a band who was sued by someone else because it was similar to their chord sequence. So it was this multiple suing thing around this song. I just really love the song. It's incredibly infectious. You can put it on and people say, oh, I feel like I already know this. This is brilliant.
And he literally could not have got it more wrong. You know, he literally couldn't have fucked up any worse with those lyrics. You know, it's 2020 Rendezvous, you and me and you, no distancing between you, me and you, borderless like the EU.
Borderless like the EU. 2020 Rendezvous. No distance between me and you.
Fair enough, in 2010 you couldn't know any of that stuff was going to happen. We weren't imagining a Britain leaves the EU worldwide pandemic situation, but as predictions go, it's possibly the worst fucking prediction. I mean, I don't think Uri Geller could have got it worse if he'd written a fucking song.
We could do the 2020 Rendezvous Tour. All the legal stuff's done, dusted now, and old ancient history. We can go out there and put on the best show we've ever done. We've pulled in some new guys on the crew. We could really, really, raise the bar for our touring productions. But unfortunately now, we're not doing anything. I'm talking to you from home.
We was waiting for 2020 so that we could, have a great tour and hopefully cash in, 2020 Rendezvous. Well, Dave cash in. But it's all gone tits up.
There's been huge losses. I mean, we're getting our accountants to try and make a claim against the insurance at the moment, and this is kind of beggars belief, really, because the insurance company are coming back to us and saying that because of the circumstances, they're unable to. It's an uninsurable loss.
And it's like almost everything Chris has brought to the table in this band has been a nice idea, but it's gone wrong. Mm-hmm. And what has saved us? The fact that 80% of the stuff that's left over, probably 90, maybe even 98%, whatever, is mine. Because Chris's bad idea got to number 1, people were like, oh, Space Potatoes, oh, that band with Chris in, and Dave. It's like, what do you mean, and Dave?
Where did the name come from? What's the deal there?
Well, I basically came up with the name one evening.
I think someone said space and someone else said potato. And I think the real genius behind the name is not the space or the potato, it's the fact that I pluralised it, I made it potatoes.
It kind of made the other chaps laugh, and we kind of made a joke about it, and then realised it was actually a great name. So
it's almost like you add an ES at the end, and man, the whole thing exploded. And then, of course, it was we got signed and we got that. So there's a bit of me that does feel that you know, it is my creation.
I come up with a name, but I'm on a wage. That don't make sense.
Ricky's all right. I mean, Ricky's fine on tour. I don't really see him. He's either sleeping or eating. So
you read Dave when you wake up in the morning on the bus, and he rolls in the afternoon, and depending on what kind of night he's had, what kind of, you know, whatever he's been doing at night, it can affect the next day.
Chris can be really over enthusiastic on tour. You know, so like, he gets really excited. Like when I get up mid-afternoon, he's been up since fucking 6 in the morning or whatever time he gets up. You know, usually when I go to bed, and then I'll come in the room. And he went, Dave, there's this new guitar out, and he'll stick his phone right in front of my face, and he'll be like that, and I'm like, hair over my face. I'm like, Chris, I've just woken up, man. You know, what are you doing? And yeah, that's quite hard. So he annoys me a lot.
It's just part of the relationship. Dave is Dave, and there's a lot of things that make Dave Dave, and a lot of people don't get that. And upon first meeting him, you think, oh, he's a bit off, he's a bit full of himself, isn't he? What's wrong with him? But that's the beauty of Dave, is all the little crazy things about him make him Dave, and I wouldn't be with him if he wasn't that way.
I mean, I just stay at the back, you know, I kind of keep out of the way, but them two, they're a bit chalk and cheese, you know. If Chris likes one thing, Dave won't like it, but if Dave likes one thing, Chris will go against it, sort of thing. So it's, you know, they're never on the same page. Chris will kind of stick up for me in a way, but I don't really approach Dave much. Yeah, bit of a cunt.
Hi everyone, Dave
and Chris
from Space Potatoes here.
You probably heard the sad news by now.
Yes, my old mate Nick has decided to go keto.
He's gone full Jordan Peterson and cut the carbs.
He's pining for the protein.
Pining for the protein? What kind of talk is that?
He's given up the hash. Well, hash browns.
He is bereft of starch.
He's passed his consume by date and gone to meet the compost.
When he was on tour, it was like vroom. He was electrifying.
Now he wouldn't voom if you put 40,000 volts through him.
He's detuned his strings.
Unplugged his lead.
Slapped his last low E.
His channel's muted. If we hadn't nailed him to the stage, he would have left long ago.
He is an ex-potato.
Obviously, we're shocked by this decision, but we have to move on.
He's run down the curtain and joined the choir.
We've done the Python bit, mate. We've done it.
He'll be remembered in our hearts forever for his funny voice.
Hello. And his muscle-flexing dreams of being a model.
So in that spirit, we're asking all of you if one of you thinks you could be the next Hash Brown.
Do you want to become part of history and be important enough to get your own Wikipedia page?
Do you think you could handle the cramp-inducing bass line from 2020 Rendezvous?
You still want us to do that after everything that's happened?
Let's not do that now, Dave.
Anyway, if you've got what it takes to be our next potato-based snack in our side dish lineup, then send us a video.
Say who you are and play a bit of bass.
Tell us why you want to be in the band and why we should have you.
Show us how you play. Tell us about you.
And once we've picked some potential spicy wedges for us, we'll have an audition in person, probably by Zoom first.
And hopefully, you'll be oven ready for us.
Isn't that what Boris Johnson said about his Brexit plan?
I meant spicy wedges.
No.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an experienced bass player.
Hi, my name is Joel Taylor and I'm 17 years old.
Hello, my name's Eric. I really want to show you what I can do, but unfortunately my amplifier has blown a fuse, so I'm going to have to play it unplugged.
Oh hi, yeah, my name's Natasha. So I can't really play the bass, but I'm pretty hot, so why wouldn't you want a hot girl in your band?
Here's one more.
Hi, my name's Latifa and I would love to apply for the bass guitarist position. I mean, I can't quite play the bass guitar, but I hear my friend Natasha is also applying and she can't play either, and more to the point, she's always slagging off Chris's wife.
Hi, Space Potatoes. Good to meet you. I'm a good buddy of your friend Kieran, or he's actually your manager. We were at public school together, and I was actually a prefect. I won't say why they called him head boy, but at a public school I'm sure you can imagine why. Anyway, my name's Richard Devreux. A lot of friends call me Richie Roo, but my name's actually Devreux. And Kieran suggested that I send you a little video of me playing, because I understand you're looking for a new bassist. At school with Kieran, I did master in classical music and Latin. And your fabulous album, yes, 2020 Rendezvous. In fact, I've got it on in my car. It comes on after Ella Fitzgerald. Yes, anyway, so I thought it'd be a good idea if I just... But one of your songs I particularly like, I don't know if it's the Monday one or something, but it's got that kind of... Sometimes subtleties like that can really add something to a band. That's my firm belief, and I'm sure you'll agree with me too. I'm also a classically trained baritone singer, so if you needed backing vocals, I can of course provide those. I mean, next thing you know, we'll all be touring around the country. I'm presuming there is some kind of luxury transport, and possibly I would travel separately because I have got a problem with breathing in air. Yeah. Oh, also, by the way, if you like slap, bit out of tune there, but you know I have been drinking this French wine.
What's going on with the gigs at the minute? Because I mean, you know, 1 minute we're in Germany, next thing we're back here in England. What's going on?
So the dates that we were supposed to be playing have now been rescheduled for June, July. So we're hoping to get back out then. I'm sure we will. I'm sure everything will be fine and get back to gigging and everything will be good.
2020 is cancelled. All gigs are going to have to be postponed until next year. Naturally, I'm working as hard as I can, trying to get in touch with as many promoters as possible to see what we can do. But right now, you know, bottom line is we won't be performing in 2020. We need to keep going, and we need to just sit tight for a bit. You know, this is a difficult situation for everyone involved.
How does one keep going and sit tight?
Lads, glad I got you here. As you know, George is ill.
Yeah.
He's got COVID, so he's being treated and he's locked away and what have you. I'm going to be working for him now, and he's asked me to keep a close eye on you.
New authoritative Trevor coming out. Are you trying to be my boss or something here?
No, I've been put in that position, so I just want to make sure it's right.
Tell me about Mr. Jenkinson.
Mr. Jenkinson. You know, he's very, very clean.
I'll say that. What you doing?
Mr. Jenkinson, you're very, very clean.
Very, very clean.
But you've got a dirty mind, life's unkind.
Mr. Jenkinson is the favourite song that I feel that I wrote and I didn't, which is really annoying because Chris claims the writing on this one.
And it's talking about a character who we know will remain nameless, who gets up to a few things on tour, so we believe. It's all, you know, needs to be confirmed. So I wrote a song around his character, really. Short little thing, sent it over to Dave, woke up in the morning, and there it was. Superb.
And then people give him loads of praise for it. I mean, you should have heard what it would have been if I'd not got involved. So, you know, that's one of those ones that really annoys me. I love playing it live, but, you know, it's a shame that he's singing it, and it's a shame that he gets the credit and the money for it, to be honest. So when's George going to be all right? I mean, is he all right? Is he going to recover?
He was quite...
What was this going on for?
I was told he was quite ill, so who knows? He's got to do the normal quarantine, but he was quite ill with it, so we've just got to see how it pans out, really. But he's asked me to take over his role, which
Fair
I
enough.
want to do the best I can, and I'd like you to do the best you can for me.
Can you tell me about how it was when you got signed? You know, take me through that.
Oh, God. We were at the Dublin Castle. It was our second gig, and this guy comes up to us, little guy, glasses, ironically from Manchester. What he was doing down there, I don't know, but it was like one of those classic rock and roll stories of, all right, lads, I'm going to make you famous.
We did, and that was the night that he approached us and said, you know, you guys are great, do you want a record deal?
You know that legendary story of Joy Division signing a contract in blood? George thought, let's have a spin on this, a potato spin, and we're signing our contract in potato starch, which to this day, you know, unless you've got a UV pen, you can't see that we've signed the deal.
I've heard there's talk of the best of album.
Yep.
You know, what contributions, what are you choosing to go on the album?
Well, I was given a choice, which was basically no fucking choice.
When the record label suggested it's probably about time you guys put out a best of, I fully expected a meeting with Kieran, and we'd all sit there, and George, and we'd discuss the track listings and which songs did well in the charts, which are fan favourites from the live set, and none of this happened, and I got an email with a list of 12 songs that were all Dave's.
I put together my list of what I considered the best of, and then someone else added their fucking songs to it, and now we're at about an album and a half.
I put together a counter list of 6 of my songs to make it now, well, the vinyl copies are 3-sided vinyl.
I had no say in it, really. But I think it's changed now. I think Chris has got a couple of songs on it.
How many compilations and reissues do The Who have, and how many reissues and compilations do Status Quo have? It's never ending. So,
well,
yeah.
Look, I was thinking, because since we're in lockdown and Ricky isn't really earning anything and we're off the road, I was thinking that maybe he could thicken up some of the backing vocals. Maybe he could add himself in and then be on the album. It would be the first time he'd actually be on a Space Potatoes album, and I think that would be nice for him.
Yeah, I've got no issues with that. I mean, I can tell him. I'm due to talk to him after this, so I could let him know. I'm sure he'd do it. I've had an idea, you know, with the best of coming up, that we're gonna be remastering all the back catalogue for the best of.
Yeah.
How about, I'm just thinking, you know, this will be a financial thing for you. How about that, you know, you do your live stuff vocally on these tracks. If we get Dave to get your vocals down, there's a bit of extra cash coming in, isn't it? Because it's a performance royalty. What do you think?
What, would Dave be all right with that? I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah, don't worry about Dave. Don't worry about Dave. It's not a problem. I'll sort that out. You know, you plan ahead. You know when your money's coming in, what you're going to do, where you're going to spend your money.
It feels horrible, you know. This is my passion, you know, playing music and playing live, and the idea that we might not be able to do it for a while is awful. You know, I'll probably have to go back and work at Morrison's again.
How are you going to manage financially without this tour?
Said, you know, just done a big animation. That was great. We'll do the best of. most of which, you know, I wrote, so I'll get the royalties. I've got my income from my various properties. I don't have, you know, wife, children, any of that stuff to take away my cash.
To have the rug pulled from under you is a nightmare. My wife's got a business, you know, and when things are quiet on her side, I fund things, you know. I've got a nice house, I live in a nice part of the world, the kids are happy and healthy. Life is nice, but when someone suddenly goes and pulls all the cash away, it's a bit worrying.
I've got enough to get by for, you know, a few months. After that, then it'll be squeaky bum time.
Would there be any way of getting like furlough, like some sort of payment just to keep me going? Because it's going to be pretty rough if we're not going to be touring for a while now. So just wondering if there's any help available, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, numbers aren't my thing, as you well know. I'd have to chat with Dave, but...
Not really been doing much. Playing with me trains. Haven't spoke to the lads for a few days, but Dave's popping round in a little while to he should be turning up soon. He's dropping off some stuff because we're going to be doing some live streaming. Just basically want to get back on the road, really. Of course, I'll just turn up with a Ferrari. You're fucking kidding me. No, that's not him, is it? No, that can't be. My eyesight's not the best, but Dave has got a fucking Ferrari. I can't even get the fucking bus.
Your songs have sometimes been said to be very similar, shall we say, to other Britpop acts and songs.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, we are what we are.
Let's put it this way. There's only so many ways you can do AD&E. Now, as it comes to being sued, we've only been sued 3 times. We've been threatened to be sued 26.
Nirvana were influenced by the US punk scene, the underground punk scene, and the Britpop bands were influenced by the Kinks and XTC and stuff like that. And I think it's just where you land when you land on the planet.
26 times. I'm sure it's 26 times, right? But only 3 of them have ever actually got to the point where it went serious, and only 1 of them ended up in court. He's saying he's going live on Facebook. He said check it out. Right, let's see what Chris is like on Facebook. What's going on? This is fucking awful. You see why we don't let him do any guitar solos really in the band?
I'm trying to give something to people. We're in a dark time at the moment, and give people a laugh and let them enjoy themselves. There's me and Sophie Ellis Bextor doing that, and nobody else.
I was a rock star. I commanded the ship. Now,
What's the reality?
The reality is what's the point of a rock star without an audience?
But George got in touch because he was ill, and I'm stepping into his shoes. There's labels, summit, I don't know what.
Now Ricky's left, we can talk money. Realistically, there isn't going to be any income for the potatoes until circa Q3 2021.
Well, I was hoping to use this opportunity to, get an advance, basically, from the account. I've got a few irons in some fires. I've literally got a contract here I'm ready to sign for a bar that's been proposed.
How much do you need?
Well, if we played at even Stevens, if we both took 100 grand out, that'd help me. I don't,
So our choices are keep the business running nicely, help out some of our guys, or take 100 grand each, hope for the best.
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to sit out of this one. Whatever you want to do, Chris, is up to you.
Hello, mate. What's up?
Now that gigs are cancelled and all that stuff's off, I want to get my other guitars back out of the storage. So I was wondering if you could like grab them, also grab some strings out of the case because I've got all this lot. I want to do some strings. Maybe you can come around for a day and we can go through all the guitars and do all of that stuff.
Mate, you're gonna have to talk to Gaddy about this one.
Right, I thought they'd let you in to get the gear now. I thought crew were allowed in.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can get into storage, but but I'm not available.
What do you mean?
I mean about work, mate.
Work?
Yeah, work.
But you work for me. You're my guitar tech. So what are you doing?
Well, my lofty heights as a guitar tech, mate, touring the world and stuff like that. I am now the new warehouse assistant at my local Tesco's.
What about the deliveries?
Well, as I said, mate, guitar-wise, you're going to have to talk to Gaddy.
No, I don't mean guitar deliveries. I've been trying to get some groceries from Tesco's and they're prioritising the needy and the vulnerable and all that, and I can't get a delivery for anything. Anything you can do there? Help me out?
Sure, mate, if you want, I can bag it all up, you can use my discount if you want, and I'll bring it round, not a problem.
Really?
No, fuck off, prick.
Chris told Ricky that he would ask me and Kieran, our manager, whether Ricky could get on a furlough payment. I didn't know that Ricky had asked him to do this. I found out later that Ricky had asked him to do this. Chris gets in the meeting with us, doesn't ask at all. In fact, he asks for 100 grand out of the business, out of the band account, to fund his own project, to fund a bar that he wants to buy, which has gone bankrupt. So he's being opportunist and trying to buy up a cheap bar in his area that's gone bankrupt due to the pandemic and drawing money out of the company. Meanwhile, promising Ricky that he's going to help him out. Well, the money isn't in the company anymore to help Ricky out because Chris has taken it. And by the way of the nature of the business, because we're 50-50 owners, if he takes money, I have to take it. I didn't need the money, but I ended up getting 100 grand more than I expected to get.
Hey then, Ricky, I've heard you had to sell your place in London and move up to Six Finger Country.
Yeah, mate. Had to get out. Sold the layout, sold the trains. Just had to go, really. But I like it up here. I've always enjoyed being around the countryside.
I didn't get into this business for women or drugs. I got in it to play this and write songs and be on stage, just having a good time. So, what's with this therapist then? Where's that come from? That's not very you, is it?
What can I say? Trying something different, I've got a therapist. I say I've got a therapist. I've tried one session. This is not like I'm entering therapy. I'm not one of those.
You can always talk to me. I mean, you don't need to be shelling out cash to some.
What the fuck can I talk to you about? How the fuck can I talk to you about you? I mean, how can I do that?
Why are you talking to the therapist about me, though?
Now, we've just been sent this, and this is the best of Space Potatoes, which, honestly, to me, is like running a beauty contest in a leper colony. 45 minutes of the most derivative shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I thought I'd try it with a younger generation, decided to give it a play to my daughter, and this is what she thought. Oh, it's all right, sweetheart, it's only music.
So did you see the review from Dick Mate?
What? No, which one?
The guy that Sean sent our album to. He worked with the NHS, raised 84 million, did the song about the Cornish pasties at Easter.
Oh, right, yeah, cool. Why? What did he say?
Oh, definitely one for the Twitter feed, mate. He mentions you by name too.
What? He actually singled me out?
Yep, mentioned you, Chris Barnes, guitar and keyboards. No mention of me. And then he described your music as horse manure.
They're like these odd shapes that somehow fit together. Chris is a hexagon, I'd say. He can continuously align along a 2D plane, whereas Dave, he's just a real-life rhombus.
You've kind of hinted that Dave likes things a certain way. I mean, Is there anything do you have sort of things you like to control?
Yeah, I try and get the band to expand in its sort of sonic outlook, but you know, it's an uphill struggle at times. And there's a thing that I've sort of said to people in the past is that Dave's kind of like the sun, and we all orbit Dave, you know. And every now and again, all the planets line up, and you get a song on an album.
When was the last time that you woke up in the morning and think, I really want to get in a splitter van and go up to Aberdeen and play to 8 people?
No, never. I never think that ever. I've done it. You've got to look back at where I came from, Dave. The Northern pub and club circuit with my dad. I mean, playing in venues where you're on the carpet in the pub next to the toilet, and someone comes over and prodded you in the chest and says, "You will play Robbie Williams." And then when Automatic were going, we were playing horrible venues, you know, 5 bands on the bill, shared drum kit, shared backline, 25-minute sets, half-an-hour sets, which were awful, playing to each band's blow-up audience who weren't interested in what you were doing. Then your mates would leave, and you were playing to no one. It was just horrible. It was horrible, horrible nights. I mean, the early days of Space Potatoes were that way. I just don't know. We'd never go back to that. What would be the appeal? You can keep the clubs. No, thank you.
I loved all that though, Chris. I mean, that was part of the dream. That was part of getting to the dream. It was part of the chase. It was getting out there and standing on that stage, and there would be 8 people or 15 people. If you were lucky, you might have 50 people.
Sometimes there was a stage if you were lucky.
Yeah, but you'd stand there and you'd open your eyes, and although there'd be, you know, a maximum 50 people staring back at you, there'd be 5,000 in my mind.
It's just a typical fucking rock star wannabe. Do you know what I mean? His guitar tech's been loyal to him for years. Pandemic happens, and he just kicks him to the wind. The tour ends, and then he's working in Tesco's, and then he fucking moans that he can't go and help him.
You know, we've got our troubles too. But I mean, I do agree that Dave is a little bit away with the fairies a lot of the time.
That's a fucking understatement.
I say, do some work, string your own fucking guitars.
He's not strung a guitar since he first got one. And that was a 1968 Telecaster. He didn't have to work hard, did he? He wasn't doing the pubs.
I'm surprised all the key people aren't on retainers.
Well, as management, Trev, maybe you should have a fucking word.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Trev's new to the role. You can't, look, lads, you can't just push Trev like that. He's new to the role.
But there was a friend of mine, lovely chap, lighting guy, really into his cars, had a load of really cool sort of, you know, V8s, V12 engine cars. He's struggling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying he might have to sell one of his cars. And I said to him, well, sell it to me. I'll keep it, use it, enjoy it over the summer. And then when you've got the money, I'll sell it back to you. So it's a bit like a loan. Yet, everyone on the cruise now, look at Dave. You know, he's just bought himself a Ferrari, driving around while we're all skint. And I turn up in my Ferrari, and why the fuck shouldn't I? I've worked hard. And I've earned money, and I've released songs, and for 15 years I've kept all of these fuckers in employment. Despite them most of the time doing things that hinders me rather than helps me. I only had the money to do because Chris wants to buy a bar and asked for money out the business. Yet I'm the bad guy. Chris is the one trying to struggle on with his family. Ricky's the one that's never been made a proper member of the band, you know, but Dave's the one that's running around in his Ferrari still playing the rock star. Well, maybe I'm a fake, maybe I am a fraud, but without my fakery and without my fraud and without my delusional thinking and all of that bollocks that they accuse me of, they wouldn't have had 15 years of fun.
You know, Dave, he's not on this planet half the time, is he? Let's face it, physically and mentally.
I've got all the recordings of our Zoom calls since we stopped touring. And everyone uses the band account for their chats because it's pro. And I've got the lot. Show the world who we really are. Because I can't give you cash. Chris has taken it all. And I'm not putting any more of my personal time and money into this band. until I know who I am and I know who they are. I've relinquished control. What's the most important thing in your life, would you say?
Well, obviously Jenna and the kids.
And after that?
Well, it's the band. No, actually, no. That should be it, because that's not be silly now. You and I are the band, so therefore it would be my relationship with you. So you're number 2 on my list.
I'm just fed up with the backstabbing, to be honest, mate.
What backstabbing?
People bitching about me. People bitching amongst themselves.
Where?
The lies.
What, on tour? Well, you get on tour. You're living in each other's pockets for 8 months of the year. You're gonna get that. Well, we're just a meal
Ricky
ticket.
comes to you like, "Oh, Chris, can you help out? Can you do this?"
He does do that. Yeah.
When are you going to help him? You keep telling him you will.
Does he really need the money? What's he want all the money for? What's he doing? He lives a very frugal lifestyle. He doesn't go anywhere when we're not on tour.
Chris, I watched him ask you. He sounded desperate, mate.
Hey?
I watched him ask you.
How could you watch him ask me?
On Zoom. You talked on Zoom, on the Space Potatoes Zoom.
Yeah, but you weren't there. That was before we had the meeting.
It's all recorded. Everything we do on Zoom is recorded because we switched. Do you remember? I sent round an email saying everything in Zoom is going to be recorded to the cloud for Sean to use for the documentary.
Yeah, but I thought you like your meetings and stuff.
Every call.
The catching up.
Every single call that has gone through the Space Potato Zoom account has been recorded to the cloud.
What, with the crew?
Crew, band, our meetings, your chats with Ricky, all of it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I think it's going to be healthy, Chris. I think it's going to get it all out in the open.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be well healthy, yeah, because I'm going to look like a fucking idiot.
It sounds like you're worried you're not as good as you think you are. Doesn't mean it's true.
How can I tell without the crowd? All the time the crowd are cheering and clapping.
They've given you the validation.
And they've gone.
And they've gone.